What's going on, guys? Welcome to another video. Today we have the Mirai Guardian. I was about to call it the Fury, but today we have the Mirai Guardian, one of the most anticipated ships for this year. This is the QI version, which is the Quantum Interdiction. I think that this is the one to get if you're looking at the Guardian. The other variant just, to me, doesn't make a whole lot of sense. This one does. This is the one to get. The design is very striking. I am a fan of how it looks, how it flies, how it performs. I spent a lot of time with it already on my most recent stream, and I've already spent some time with it in Arena Commander, getting absolutely dog walked by Hornets. So in PvP it's okay, but the 1-size-2 shield does leave it a little bit vulnerable given its size. I mean, it does have 2 size 5 weapons, but a Hornet has way more DPS than this thing. Do keep that in mind if you get into PvP engagements with this thing. It's okay. It's capable. Maybe a more skilled pilot can do better with it than I could, but you know, nevertheless, you know, we're gonna go in. We're gonna talk about this ship. Now, one thing that people may not know is that you can actually enter the ship from the front, from right here in the cockpit. So let me go ahead and show you guys that real quick, and then we'll work our way through the ship. We have a little thing right here that says enter pilot seat, and we can get into the ship this way. And we'll just start with the cockpit. The cockpit is very similar to that of the Fury, it's just bigger. You know, I don't know. Well, of course, the Fury, you can only exit from the front, but we have these same kind of straps. I think this is the only seat that actually, not the only seat, but the only ship, this and the Fury, I think, are the only ships that actually strap you in to the cockpit, which makes sense. You know, I would think in the future that we would have actual harnesses that keep us in place in these ships. Oh my god, I can literally hear somebody's Atlas walking around in their hangar, which is very, very annoying. Nevertheless, the cockpit is, you know, it's nice. Side, forward, and down are pretty good. Up is not great, just due to the fact that we do have the Guardian logo overhang thing, which kind of looks like a hat or like a helmet. And the G reminds me of the Gatorade logo. I think that's kind of funny. They might want to look out for that one. Gatorade may come for them for that one. But other than that, I do like the exterior design of the ship. It looks very, very good in my opinion. Don't have any skins for it. At least not yet. Not right now. Maybe in the future. We'll see. They're just gonna act like I haven't actually looked at them all just yet. But if there's one that I like, I may pick it up. But just I really like the exterior design of the ship, the gimbaled engines, which gives the ship a lot of maneuverability. It's also its Achilles heel, because if these engines do get shut off, you are in trouble. So do keep that in mind if you're going to be using this in any type of combat, especially for being third party and they're shooting you from the rear. You know, they're probably going to be going for your engines, which is going to be a bad day for you. Okay, getting back inside of the ship. Now, if you do want to exit to the front, what you want to do is this little, I guess, seat belt thing right here. You want to F this, right click, and then you can exit the front. And I'll show you guys what that animation looks like. And you exit the front, and now you're out, which makes it an actually very viable ship over some of the other, you know, heavy fighters. My thought about this ship, it's like the Fury and the Vanguard had a baby, and this is the love child, because it's very Vanguard-ish on the inside, and I'll show you guys what I mean by that. So let's come back around here to the rear of the ship. And I'm not gonna lie, this entrance is actually kind of small. You know, just good enough for one person, which is what the ship is designed for. And back here we have our suit locker. Now, my thoughts about this is that while it's neat that we have a suit locker back here, if this was like realism, and you know, CIG tries to strive for that in what they do, if there was any issue with your ship, if you weren't already in your, you know, your gear, you would have to come through this door, for maybe in here, or from the cockpit. You know, potentially 1, 2, 3 doors to get to your suit, which is probably not the best thing to be doing in an emergency. So here we have some of the components back here. We have, you know, some military grade components. We have a shield generator right there. And on this side, this is probably going to be something for life support or a battery system when that comes online. We have our engineering space. I just think it could do with less doors. I can maybe understand having 1 door here because that leads to the outside of the ship. But I do think like having these 2 doors is kind of unnecessary in a lot of ways. But you know, CIG, they love their doors, so you know, they're gonna do it. We have more components in here. There we go. Got our shield generators. Military, which is nice to have now that the components have changed. And we got more components in these areas here. All very nice animations. Everything is tightly compact. Okay. In here we have our kitchenette. Now, I would have been more of a fan of this ship if the suit locker was right here and we just didn't have a kitchenette. I mean, do we really need that? I mean, we have cruise lux. All you need is cruise lux. And we have our suit locker right next to our shower, which would have made the most sense in the ship like this. And then we have here, this is our combination head, and I'm headless. Yeah, that's really happening. But in third person, I'm not. First person, I'm headless. We got our shower combo. Now, one thing that I'm actually kind of curious about is if we are supposed to like have to take showers at some point in the future to have like hygiene and things like that, that means we would have to have water on board our ships, and I don't see anywhere for like water tanks. So, you know, that's, you know, very, very interesting. Something I may want to think about, because I don't know of any ships that have space for actual water tanks unless, you know, one of these empty spaces back here, right, can house a water tank, but I doubt it. Or maybe you put the water tank somewhere in the wings, but if your wings get shut off, then you lose water. So, you know, it's just one of those things that maybe they want to think about. Then we have ventilation right here, and then we're back to the cockpit. Now, one of the other things that I wanted to show you guys is that this can actually fit in the Polaris. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to move this all the way to the front of my hangar, and then we're going to spawn in the Polaris, and we're going to put this bad girl inside. And as we can see, she fits like a glove. And there's actually room to spare. Now, do I think, you know, that this is a good companion for a ship like the Perseus? Maybe. But I do think that if you're going to bring a fighter complement on board your ship, you should just bring snub fighters, like a bunch of snub fighters, stuff that's small, because like you want to have numbers, and you can only have one of these. Even though it does fit nicely and it does look fantastic inside of here, still, I think that a more fighters is how they say more better, right? Now, what I want to do is kind of show you how this thing performs in combat. We're going to be doing some PvE stuff because that's how most people will probably be using the ship, is in a PvP setting. PvP, it's okay. It's not as bad as I thought it would be, but it's still limited in what it can actually do in a PvP scenario. So, and let's do the G-forces. Now we already know we have 15.6 forward. Demonstrate that for y'all really quick, and it hits that really quick. Now we're gonna do our side 11.2, pretty good, and it's also going to be 11.2 this way as well, so keep that in mind. And it hits those walls really quick. Up, we're going to have 10.8. And for our down, we're going to have 11.6. So it does have some maneuverability. This is the most maneuverable heavy fighter. And somewhat you can avoid fire, but I mean, it's almost negligible because of the size of the ship, especially in the front. The profile is not favorable, especially with only one size 2 shield. It doesn't have the same amount as much DPS as some of the other ships. Though it has more maneuverability, it's still quite large. Look out for my missile warning, because all that shit is broken. I do want to test out the attritions, but I don't have the money for that in the game at the moment, so we're going to be rocking the size 5s. That side strafe, that 11.2 Gs on that side strafe is nice. I hope they don't nerf that. That side strafe is so nice. It almost takes me back. Oddly enough, we're fighting this glaive, even though it's an NPC glaive. I think it's the ship's most comparable ship. I do think it's kind of like a little bit in a league of its own, just due to the fact that it has an interior and things like that. But compared to the glaive, it does have like the 2 size 5 weapons. Like, the Glaive does have extra, like 2 size 1s as well. But, you know, it is, I think, the most comparable in terms of, like, its weapon output. So all in all, is this a ship that is too powerful? Is this a ship that is, you know, just right? And I think it depends. I think it depends on how you want to use it and how you use it. But I tend to find that from what I've seen so far, that it's just right. It's not too powerful. It's big, slightly undergunned compared to some of the other fighters in the game, though it does have a lot of DPS. But something like a Hornet, F-7A Mark II, or even an F-8C Lightning are going to have way more DPS than the ship. Now, the ship does have the maneuverability. You do have these gimbaled engines, and you can side strafe really, really well. But even though that you can do that, the ship still has a very large footprint. It does have a QED, which will help you keep people in the fight that you wanna fight. But do know that this ship is not some OP god ship that will allow you to win every fight. I do think that you need a little bit of skill to get the most out of this ship, because it's a lot easier to black out in this ship than it is some of the other heavy fighters. So you have to know how to do things like counter strafe when you're blacking out, and be able to do that while you're in the middle of a fight, while you're being shot at. That requires a high degree of skill to master. And this is the kind of things that I want from the game. I want things that are very, very hard to master. And I think that this ship could potentially be that. I would have personally loved this ship in the previous flight model. I think this ship would have been fantastic in the legacy model, but you know, we're here now, and I intend to make the most of this ship, you know, as I can. Now, the other thing is how much does the ship cost? And the cost is actually quite interesting. I thought it would be $300, but it isn't. It's right in the range where I think it's doable, but I'm not really a fan of spending new money on this game. So for me, if I were to get this ship, I would be doing something like melting other ships or using some of the store credit that I currently have in order to get a ship like this. So with that being said, that's going to be my time. I thank you guys so much for watching this review of the Mirai Guardian, and we'll be doing a quantum interdiction test on this ship to see the ranges and things like that as soon as, you know, some of the people, my org that I play with, come online and we're able to test that further for you guys, and we will put out a video for that. And until next time, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.